Nana Asaase, what's your story?
To my younger self, what's your story?
To my younger self.
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 To my younger self. To my younger self.
To my younger self, what's your story? To my younger self, what's your story?
Hi, good morning, hello, and how are you all doing? Good morning to you wherever you're watching us from. My name is Zoe Baraka. It is such a pleasure to, connect with you on a Tuesday and kind of just tell stories. I know a lot of you are on your way to work, and so you're going to be trickling in little by little. I welcome you. I'm very, very excited today because what we're about to do is phenomenal. So when you do join us, please, please, please go tell your friends to tell your friends to tell your friends who may have enemies to join us also, okay? Let's go ahead and do some greetings. Let us greet each other from different parts of the continent of Africa. Once again, my name is Zoe Baraka. The show is To My Younger Self, where we tell stories that, stories from the past that propel us into the future. Where are you watching us from? Baraka da zua to you. Sanungu da zua. Yaya de kakwana lafia. It is wonderful, wonderful to see you. Ya ken tuma fuduwela. Tiposa baraka. It is wonderful to see you. I greet you. I just greeted you in the Hausa language and also in the Kasal language, which is my father tongue. I want to greet you. I greet you. And Suma to you. It is wonderful to see you. If you speak Dabani or you speak Wali, I just greeted you. Ndina to you, Wezo, Leke, F1. It is wonderful, wonderful to see you. If you speak Eve, I just greeted you. And to say Akwaba Denya Mawachi. I am greeting you in different variations of the Akan language. So wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Sawubonani to you if you speak Zulu. I greet you, our South African friends. Listen, last week, we had an incredible session with one of our guests who is also from South Africa. So you guys, the love is deep, right? You showed up in your numbers and you did incredible. So stand up, South Africa. It is wonderful to see you. Listen, if you just joined us, I want you to go into the comment section and please greet me in your local tongue. Okay, I want to hear from you. Ibella to you if you speak Mori or Moshi. Ibiokebari to you. Te Oyo Tang. It is wonderful to see you. Oje Ko to you if you speak Ga. I just greeted you. Lale to you. That is Chadian Arabic. I just said hello to you in Chadian Arabic. Into Mafe to you. How are you? It is wonderful to see you. Yes, of course. Salam alaikum to you. If you speak Arabic itself, it's wonderful to see you. Ekaro, or Ekabo, as our Nigerian friends will say. In Yoruba, I greet you. Nagadef to you if you speak Wolof. You guys know I am so in love with the Senegalese people. It's mind-blowing. I greet you. Jumbo to you. Habari gani. Habari yao sibwe. Karibu sana to you if you speak Swahili. Katong to you, Amohalang to you. It is wonderful to see you all, just scattered across Africa. It is wonderful, wonderful to see you. Nyase, Aloy, Domilake, how are you doing? I just greeted you. Also in Bisa, the people of Ghana and of course Burkina Faso. Thank you for joining us. If you just joined us, you're welcome. Tell us where you're watching us from. Please greet us in your local dialect. And of course, I want you to go and then invite your friends to come watch also. Okay, so share. Just share the link, okay? It is wonderful to see you. Akeyu to you. We're always paying homage to our storytelling friends in Haiti. That is Haiti, for those of you who want to westernize it. Bom dia to you if you speak Portuguese. Bonjour to you. Buongiorno. Buenos dias, of course, in Marathi. Maraba, Maraba. Welcome, welcome. We're very, very happy to see you here. I'm rushing today because I have an incredible guest and I kind of want to introduce him really, really quickly. Now, over the last couple of days, I've just become enamored with this guy. Absolutely enthralled by him and in love with him. And you guys probably know why. He strings words so beautifully. I just get lost in it. Literally, it's like a sea and I'm swimming in them. Good morning to our producer extraordinaire. Good morning, Indina Milo. It is wonderful to see you. Where is everybody today? Today is a special day. Where is everybody? Well, patience, 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 right? Okay, let's see. Let us introduce you to the incredible, incredible Nana Asaase. You know, I was thinking about his name today, and maybe he may have some insights into that. But Nana Asaase is a Ghanaian poet, writer, literary coach, cultural practitioner, multi-artist, and storyteller. You know that makes me happy. He is a storyteller. His works are mostly rendered in a blend of English and Twi, one of the dominant Ghanaian languages. He has served audiences from all walks of life, including all presidents of Ghana's Fourth Republic. Did you hear that? He didn't say some presidents, it's all presidents of Ghana's Fourth Republic, the current King of England, then Prince Charles, to corporate giants, academics, and art lovers in general, within and beyond the borders of Ghana, having practiced his art for 23 years. And I kept thinking, how old is this guy? I thought he was going to be like, I don't know, 70 something. But he's not. Despite being young, there we go, Nana's deep appreciation of a CANT oratory embodied in appellations directed at the high and mighty and of Ghanaian folklore has earned him a seat around the table of the country's literary giant. He's a former student of the University of Ghana and was under the tutelage of Professor Kofi Anyidaho, a giant in Ghanaian and African literature, and many more Ghanaian literary greats afterwards. He has been interviewed on both local and international media, including the BBC and CNN's African Voices program. He is currently serving his second term as the secretary of the governing board of Ghana's National Folklore Board. Nana Asaase is the CEO of Asaase Inscriptions, Ghana's first literary coaching agency and cultural consultancy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to do my best to try to introduce Nana Asaase onto the platform. And so without further ado, good morning. Where is all of you guys? Londoners, how are you? Hanatu, it's wonderful to see you. Listen, tell your friends to tell your friends to tell your friends to tell your friends to join us this morning because they're about to be mind blown. Like I said, this is a man I do not mind fangirling online at all. I am absolutely gobsmacked, mind blown with him, just enamored by him. I literally just told him, bro, I am in love with you. This is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me the biggest honor of introducing to you the absolutely indefatigable man of words. I don't even have the words to describe him, but let me just say, please welcome the incredible, incredible Nana Asaase. Nana, you are very welcome to the.
Thank you, Zoe. Thanks for having me. You'd make a fantastic PR manager, you know?
Say, I do? Really?
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it after this.
I truly appreciate that. Oh my God, it is wonderful to see you. Thank you for honoring our invitation so graciously.
Thank
so
you for
easily.
having me.
You're welcome
I'm
to
glad
the
to be here.
And
Thank
you know
you
what?
so
My
much for
job
having
is
me.
my job is done. I have one of the best jobs on earth. 9 minutes in and my job is done. The show is yours, sir. I hand it over to you. Take us away.
Wow. Okay. I'm a seed of potent dreams and promises,
Oh God.
planted in a green desert. a lonely dark cloud over an anxious dry plain, a harvest of burdened expectancy. I'm a drop of living water to the creaky limbs of a stranded warrior, fat sweat on a skinny brow, hope of a widowed forest. Dua uyi nka, let this tree remain. If you dare to ask my name, I will tell you that I am a lonely traveler, traveling to distant homes to nurse my germinating journeys and to seed my adventures as fruit for my daring. I am a jubilating fruit swinging the visible joys of a breezy day. I remain the hefty tongue of conscience, housed in the cheeks of time, awaiting the next eternity to speak light to this chaos of the world. I am the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. I came to pour libation. I did not come to pour libation to our gods who might have traveled across the fence to learn from their neighbors, but I came to pour libation to you and you and you, elevated pieces of living earth, who, the Creator, in all his wisdom, chose to shade you from the eyes of the sun. Your walk was so beautiful, the world was confused, it called it dance. And when you spoke your multi-tones, all they could hear was rhythm, call it music. So music and dance was born in this place. Welcome to this market of 9 moons. Welcome to this crossroads of dreams. Welcome to the center of the world, where in the cool of the evening the creator descends to enjoy the breeze. This place where he cooks his food and sends to the rest of the world. This place where the wisdom knot is made and lassoing the world around with love. If you left me to go, I could finish 17 stanzas and a simple matter would not have been established. And so, Zoe, let's have a conversation. Akwaba,
Oh
welcome
my
to this
God.
place where miracles are a daily occurrence. Nana Asaase.
Oh my God. I am
Yes, Zoe.
so.
So it's been 25 years exactly. 25 years exactly.
Mm.
It's been 25 years of practicing this, of doing this. And
Oof.
I'm glad that the divine found me to do this. I always tell God, if you ever choose to bring me back here and you want to take everything away, don't touch the fact that I am a poet. I'm so glad to carry this gift. And until I leave Earth age 90 plus, I do not see myself doing any other thing else. This is what I was sent to do. Look, Africans have very rich culture, very rich content, very rich concepts and philosophies that we are fast losing out on. You'd find them in theses, in university corridors, you find them in museums, you'd find them in spaces where we might have to actually pay to be re-Africanized. Yet these things are roaming free in the sun, in the savannah, wherever you choose to go. We do not respect our things until somebody out there stamps it and brings it back to us. And so it's sad to find that most of our big names in literature were made in the West and dumped on us. And because, not to say they did not have merit of their own, of course they do. But for most of the time when they are made at home, we do not appreciate them. So I'm glad that things are beginning to turn and now we are exporting our musicians to the world. We love them back at home and then we export them to the world. But there's still a lot more work to be done. And so it is my aim that while everybody wants to be a lawyer and a doctor, it's okay, do all of that. But you realize that the literary greats, the cultural greats have conspired to leave us at times when we least expect them to.
Mm.
And so God rest their souls. We lost Oshamraku Atukwe Okai. He's
Mm.
gone.
Yes. Uh-oh. I think, dear MTN, I'm writing you a love letter. Please, today is one of those days. Just release the internet to us. We beg you.
Who else have we lost? So many of them on the continent. Lately, we lost our mother,
Mm.
Amata.
You do. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So 11,
Nana,
12
I don't know if you can
years
hear me, but
ago, I told
we
myself, look,
cannot hear you.
somebody needs to be a guinea pig. Do this. And I realized that I love to do this.
Okay.
This is one of your arts with others and realize. Yes. Hello, Zoe. Can you hear me?
We couldn't hear you for a minute. You were strobing, and so I was trying to get your attention. But I think we're back. So yes,
Okay. Are we okay?
I think we're
Good.
okay now.
So the
yeah.
beauty of sharing your work, with others and realizing they appreciate it, it resonates with them, and you realize that you face audiences who are not necessarily Ghanaian, who are not even African,
Mhm.
and they just love your work. I met Joe Neal. Joe Neal was the member of House of Assembly for South Carolina some years back. I
Okay.
performed for them in Chi, mostly in Chi, my mother tongue. When we're done, Joe walks up to me and shakes my hand. Hello, sir. You're my new favorite poet in the whole wide world. And I'm like, gosh.
Wow.
Did you even hear a word of what I said? He says, no. The creative energy was something that was hitting me all the while I sat there.
Mm.
Tell me
Wow.
the science of it. But I face audiences which do not understand my language.
Mm.
At the same time, I realize that when you speak a man's language, you're speaking to his soul.
Mm.
And so I do not speak too many languages like Zoe does, but at least I try to understand my audience. I do my audience research before I face anybody, and then I find suitable words I need to bring in, expressions, and then phrases.
Mm.
Zoe, so where have we come from to get to
Where
this
have
point?
where have you
Where have we
come
come from?
from? Where have you come from?
Where have
You.
I come from?
That's
Okay,
my
so if
question.
this is the stage, so I obviously came from off stage. So
Mm.
off stage has been 25 years of reading,
Mm.
writing, having conversations,
Mm.
learning, listening to stories. We had this show on TV by the fireside,
Yes.
run by Grace Omabo, probably known as Mame Dokno in Ghana. Let me give credit. The way we name and shame, we should be able to name and hail. I listened to the likes of Abricho Bakofi Same growing up, the likes of my friend Eja Konimo, growing up. I listened to the Amachi Days, I listened to the Jeduble Ambules, I listened to the CBSAs. I saw the Bibi Groma productions on television. I loved these things. They had a very deep appeal for me. I didn't know what it was. My grandmother was fond of throwing appellations at her grandchildren. So, you know how when a woman has given birth, her mother comes in to live with her for a while, and they're
Yes.
playing with the baby, they just throw him up and all of that. And they sing, all these things I had they held curiosity for me. I did not understand what they were at the time, but now I know what those things were.
Mm.
Those things were all a call to me that eventually culminated in, me realizing that, hey, I've got this gift.
Mm.
Me realizing I've got this gift. So thank you to my parents. I got to speak Chi at home.
Mm.
I got to learn Chi in school, but I got to speak it at home a lot more. Yeah. And nobody restricted you and said, you have to speak English and all of that. English was for school. That's okay. I realized I had this masterful control of even the English language. It came to me at an early age. I just had this thing for it. It was there. I don't have to struggle with it.
Can I break your stride a little bit and ask you?
Yes, Zoe.
You
Yes.
made a very important statement. You said your grandmother liked to throw appellations at her grandkids. And I'm
Yes.
so curious
Yes.
to find out what she was doing and how she was doing it. I dare say you know how to do those things. So can you give us an example of that? I'm so curious.
Okay. So she's carrying a child, bouncing the baby, and she goes like, "Esi ahene, etu ahene,
Mm.
odeshi eba."
Mm.
You are saying, you're speaking positive things, but these are appellations. So a Siahine is the one who instills kings. A
Mm.
Tuahine is the one who distills kings.
Wow.
Odisheba is the son of a Zera.
Mm.
You are beautiful. Yesika is one of my cousins, Janet. Janet is in London. The Yesika is golden year or golden daughter of Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
When people have Asaase year, she was the Yasika.
Wow.
And that name has stayed till date.
She must be rich.
Yasika has become a name that has stayed till date.
Wow.
Oh, she's a rich auntie.
Oh, yes, exactly.
I have some nephews of mine and nieces of mine. I have Ajwa. I have Ajwa Bedito. I have Yaubedi there. I give them names that are beautiful. Bedito is one who came to eat Eton is food we prepare for kings.
Mhm.
It's symbolic of gold. It's symbolic of good times. It's symbolic of plenty or, fatness. So Bedito is one who was born in a good time.
Mm,
Typically, it's a name that will be given to somebody who was born after bumper harvest.
mm, mm.
Yao, Bedito. And I gave Yao Bedi there. Me say Yao Bedi there. Eno jina anajo. Ene anopa. E konso. E de kenten. So obusi yode ma yasika. So Yao is the male version of Thursday. He's a male born on Thursday. Ya is also born on Thursday. So I say Yao is the one who stood on the shoulders of night and day, and with a basket harvested dew and gave to Yasika.
Oh my God.
Take your time and go into it. We won't delve into that now.
We're
So
not
you
good
give
because
them
the
names
imagery is so
that lift them up.
powerful. Mm, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And so you realize that the name does a lot to you. The
Auntie Doris.
name does a lot to you. So that was how my name Nana Asaase came.
Mm, wow. So
Yeah,
who
so
gave you
it was
that
through
name?
these things that I earned the name Nana Asaase.
Who gave you that name?
So the first person I heard call me Nana Asaase was my grandmother, and then
Mm,
everybody around me was calling me Nana Asaase. It was once in a while they would call me Nana Asaase. They had different names, but Nana Asaase kept coming up. So when I got to University of Ghana, I studied with Prof. Anidoho. When I was about to leave, I checked the kind of poetry I write versus the name I have, Philip. I realized that Philip and what I write don't really
is your name
get along quite
Philip?
well.
Oh
So I
God.
decided to go. Yes, I'm Philip. That's okay. The Philip I'm named
That's
after, I'm crazy about, so I won't change it. So I won't change it. So I had to go back. Our elders have this thing of sankofa, or
Mhm,
going back to pick
mhm,
something. Not
mhm.
necessarily what you deliberately left behind, but
Wow.
sometimes there's a lot of wealth going on in the past.
Mm,
Okay. There's a lot of wealth going on in the past because the past is what you can lean against. The
mm.
past is a rock that you lean against.
Wow.
When you lean against something, you can only lean against something that is usually behind you,
Mm, mm, mm.
typically.
Wow.
Now, so I went into the past, I started looking for names, something that would fit what I do,
Mm.
and then behold, I get such a time people who profess whatever, we are not going there. Now, he says, the heaven is the Lord's seat, the earth is
Mm,
his footstool, which he has given to man.
mm,
And so I
mm,
figured, good. So
mm,
I'm going to stay down there and carry his footstool, which is on earth. So Nana
mm.
Asaase has nothing to do with Asaase and all that deity. No.
Wow.
Nana Asaase is simply the footstool bearer of Kron Kron Nana
Mm,
Nyankopon. A Uchai
mm.
Nyankunton or Bom Renkenson. That is where Nana Asaase eventually got established.
Came
Right? Because
from.
my professor, Kofi Anidoho, encouraged me to write in my mother tongue.
Mm.
Encouraged me to write in the mother tongue.
Wow.
He told me, look, if you are able to master, you either find a beautiful way of handling it. It could become your break, or it could unmake you. Because he felt I was trying to impress him with all the brofu, all the English in his class. Of course,
Wow.
how can you do that? So I had to strike a balance. So there was a poem I wrote, the creation story. The creation story. The creation story. Yes, the creation story struck a blend of English with Chi and says, look, if you are able to master this technique, it could become your break.
Mm.
Otherwise, it could become your undoing. So that's how I developed the skill of, shuffling between English and Chi, walking into an English room and speaking Chi to them and bringing them back to, you know, so going back and forth in languages. That's how I mastered it. And he actually encouraged me to write in my mother tongue.
Mm.
That is when I
Mm.
gained the consciousness of writing in Chi
Mm.
and realized
Mm.
that, well, it would also work because he's written a lot of work in Ever. He's performed a lot of work in Ever. He has a lot of it. And so I took after that, and it works for me. When I have the pleasure of somebody says, "Oh, we don't want the cheating, we want it in English," I'm like, "What? gear up, buckle up. You're ready for it. I'm ready for you. I'll speak English. This thing of cultural inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
So I enter a room full of Ghanaians, Franco. I'm like, Swahili, bienvenue au Ghana. Immediately, I have your attention because at least I've spoken something sensible in your language. When you speak in
Right.
that language, you speak to his soul.
Wow.
Now, back to Nana Asaase. So Nana Asaase is a traveler. My very first costumes I started performing with would have the hat, the straw hat, which is symbolic of a shepherd or of a traveler, typically a nomad from up north.
Yes.
The ahinima is traditional slippers from everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
from their CANT regions and all of that. I had a blade with me, a sheathed sword, which is symbolic of a warrior who is not here to fight; he's here for peace. And then
Wow.
what else? I had a calabash. Good. I had a calabash. The calabash is half of a womb. The calabash is half of the sun. Calabash is half of the
I've never thought about that. Wow. Oh, I think we lost you, Nana. Hey.
Oh, where did you lose me? So I can
Talking
backtrack.
about the calabash is half of the moon, is also half of a womb,
Good.
and yes. Mm-hmm.
Half of the womb.
Mm-hmm.
So when I show you the calabash, I'm actually showing you the innards of a womb. What does a calabash hold? We use a calabash to hold water.
Mm-hmm.
We offer water to visitors. Water is a symbol of life.
Mm.
Water brings relief. Water, if you hold water, you hold a lot of power.
Wow.
It's beautiful,
Mm.
right? Now, in the calabash, we hold shea butter. We hold shea butter. What is shea butter for? To soothe our lips, our parched, feet, and all of that. We use it to cook. It's also
Yes.
medicine. It's very good, for massage.
Mm.
What do we hold in the calabash? We hold grain. Grain is to be planted. It's
Mm.
multiplicity. So out of the womb, you multiply. So
Wow.
calabash is symbolic of the earth, the symbolic of whatever is organic. The calabash can be eaten. It provides food. The seed in there is food. So I had the calabash to also say, look, I've been around. I have earned the right to talk about Ghana. I've earned the right to talk about Africa. I've earned the right to talk about myself because I say I'm a child who is learning the ropes of the world and the ways of my people. So it's very important for me. So
Wow.
whatever I do, whatever I carry, whatever I portray in terms of costuming is very symbolic for me. When I wear the smock, of course, I'm not from up north. However, I like to wear that. And when I wear these things, I call them my metals. When I wear civilian clothes, so I typically would not tout any designer and say, look, this is a West. No, I'd rather wear a made in Ghana designer. Like I like to wear my horseman shoes. Let me give him a shout out. Yes. You typically give me my shoes.
Hey,
when I'm
horseman
currently looking
shoes.
from horses. I love it. Yeah. Tony is amazing. Or I'll wear my royal diadem slippers. The rest will be my ahinima. I love my ahinima. I have a ton of them. I deal in ahinima as well. So these are things I can dare to sell to another, or I can dare to prescribe to another because I know what it is.
Wow.
And so I don't send messages just by the things I say. I send messages by the things I wear. It's important that we project who we are as a people. So it's been 25 years of doing all of this. I made a promise to myself. I have a shelf where I have a lot of foreign writers and all of that. I look at it all the time like, people, you know what? Until I'm done with my African writer series, we can't have a conversation yet. It was a conscious thing for me. So I got into a lot of African writers. Yes. And even with my African writers, I don't have a full hang of it. I'm not done. So I've got a lot of Africanization to do with myself so I can pass it on to others. But I've been curious from being a child. I've been curious. I would ask so many questions because I want to know. When you do something you understand, you do it with meaning. When I
I think we lost Nana. Nana, can you hear us?
teach you something I understand, the study. Yeah. All right, Zoe, maybe you want to ask me a question.
Actually, I'm still jonesing for a story from you, but what we're gonna do though is I'm really jonesing for a definitive story that has a beginning, middle, and end from you, like a proper story.
Okay. I'll
But
tell you.
before you get into that, Nana, I wanted to kind of regale the audience in one of your performances that I found incredibly enthralling. Of course, we had to do a deep dive and find some of your performances, but this one was one of my favorites, courtesy of I think City Tube. So you guys, thank you very much. This is not it's not a production. It is something you did last year, and it was, I believe, Ghana Entertainment Awards or something like that. And guys, just stay tuned. We're going to play that. And of course, to YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, we want to make a big disclaimer verbally. This is not our work. This is by courtesy of CityTube on YouTube. Okay. So here we go. We're going to play that. It's about 5 minutes, but I promise you, not 1 second of boredom in there. I was totally taken by it, and I'm looking forward to you being taken by this too. It's an incredible performance. Just pay close attention to the words and the way this guy just kind of strings it together. And we're trying to bring it up, and that's why I'm kind of blabbing a little bit, giving it time to work because I don't know, the internet is doing that to us today. But the moment it pops up, I will stop talking. You know what I mean?
When a child is called before his elders, he dare not name names or call titles, lest he misses one and be made to pay a fine. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. I did not come to pour libation. Tonight, Mijao Kakra, now so they are fadring. Timisim Penny become Penny, some Mofrabet one and some shadows would find their places on the walls. Nana Asaase, or Mama Quenja Biwa Fasi, a simbichimisu, into my minimum susuwe, a be an amosumo, and what to me at Remi CB. Elders say a child who will live long needs no child. Oba obeche, ye moni sumai. Enunti, Sabi, impeye diasa. And I'm to Mamma Fedunka, Sabin pay dia 9 or Bakwasiape, and Odin and Sabin Kumchene Jeffy. Now, by you are Westy Society and so was sort of a na, send ya yetchim. Opening Fahi, opening Hina, or Penini, the ordinary pump him up him soon to Shemia, was my pump him wapa, Ampa, Mishia Sunukrutia, it my pump him up him not the pim dear, a chamber two, Crumfin Finimo be a chabinia bidi in Tiene, on so one who are dear. Mweniate intishe meka sem nyina de so nipa ne ehwehwe de oyo hene ye ehwehwe asuo ni okwantem de oyo panin asuo ni okwantem de oyo panin na friend okintin kantan fentemfrem ofentemfrem ofema da sankwa enkwansu tin ada sateto santin de ni so koto yebo bi huru yanim yanim tiye nti yanim abanyam be friend no soro fonton from komakokoro ko obo brama brempombo jibire wase onyankropon Onunkwane or Domankuma Trema or Yaiman Kotokro Ron, Srumefi, Srubedi Asawase, Uvier, and with Tim so San Kawa Bonnie out to bed in Canem to do Benjamin Bies to Timosufra Mama, and as I say, O Mama Quenja Biofase, meant to me who was here in Krahine and means some quiet to draw and keep a bomb in Papa. Anna, let me speak some English to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am a seed of the sky planted in the wombs of the earth. Native of the sky, bound to earth by umbilical tree. I am a wonder from many realities ago, planted in this generation to serve many more yet to come. And I have realized the element of the third leg of wisdom that a man will lean on and call a true friend. Hina no boche ni freku on yonko pani eja ya de to bama so eko okudin kunim san be fie be ka okunkunim de mo asem e fa de pa ya prapra ho ya to ya nante so. Struggles of man begin at birth. Yet, midlife crisis is another thing to deal with. You see, he said when a child learns to wash his hands well, he eats with his elders. What of an elder who does not learn to wash his hands well? What happens to him? And see, she, nyansan timpeni njemu, inti ya omudi, omube, hata sinto susi yan she, panya na judesium, nanso Nana Asaase, mesi, meshia unipa brewetia ono, chre sempua, chre teku, edia hamasina panya na judesium. Ago fiha asempa yetia mentoa ma ne nware nti mesum onyankopɔn a na masom nna yɛf no kronkron a wɔwɔ adehyepɔn a ɔwɔ mie ɔse ɔbaa tuntum so no sɛ wo deɛ menwie wo ho asɛm ka hwɛ sɛ wode sere abiri ohia no so ma ne yɛfrɛ me ɔdefoɔ ɛno nti ɔdɛfoɔ asase hwɛ sɛ mahyɛ nsɛm dɛ sɛ nsa bɛkɔde bɛsom adasa mahyɛ mesua mehunu matim so sɛ anadwo ba deɛ no kware wo ho twa woyɛ ɔkra kɔnɔ deɛ a wo ho ni dɛm sɛ a woyɛ bia so no nko ɔbaa wopia wi akete a na ɔsoro adwo ɔsɛ wokura suban pintin sɛ ɔma mapoma ɛno nti yɛnti wodi basabasa na ato mmɔnten so abisabisa obi banya nsakuku a yɛde wokɔ badwen ba nsuo anadwo ba ɔbaa wonim biribi ɔsɛ mafa wo ho adwempa bi ma memfa nto yie na mfiri antɔ ɛne sɛn so ahamanakye bosuo de so mawi ahɔhoɔ mɛhyɛ wo kyerɛ makora ma ne hyema wo nante wɔ atumpan so mɛka makyerɛ mato makyerɛ maada sɛ asua hunu nyansa so ɔba tuntum sɔn no hwɛ na wankɔpɔ wo ho na obibini baa deɛ yɛbɔkɔ yɛ anim frɛ me no so no bɔ yɛkɔ yɛkyi frɛ me no so no gyina faako frɛ no mintimini mu a wo ɛne yɛfrɛ wɔ asase mfimfini. Welcome to this crossroads of dreams, this market of 9 moons, where the Creator cooks his food and sends to the world, and all of them have life. If my time is still not up, then I shall tell you of that woman who is rare, exceptional. Meka asɛm ne de kɔsii sɛn ɔsɛ ɔbaa asɛm a maka afa wo hin wode wo sereɛ biri m'ani so enti masusu biribi wode wo nim de akye me kwakwa nti mafa wo ho adwempa bi w'anim te se ahemfo pia mu ahwehwɛ wo deɛ wotu mirika a yɛnse wadwobere ofiri sɛ wotutu wo nan de sisi de biri w'atifoɔ ani so anaasase ɔmama ko agya bi wɔfa ase worɛ fi biribiaa kae sɛ woba asase mfimfini yɛbɛhyia owuo ne nkwankwantanan so ɛna ɔbɔ adeɛ de yɛ kwade yɛn bɛɛ fie sɛ akoroma nti ano ate nti ne yɛwɔ ɔdɔ ɔnsa nifa so menhwɛ adeɛ woni ate wo nkyɛn poma ne saa ɛnyɛ ntɔkwa fa bɔ manuel medase anasase hyia me bio a ɛbɛyɛ ɔdɔ asɛm pani bɛka mpani nsɛm ɔfra bɛto ananse.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I just get lost in it.
Wow.
And I think
Wow.
that if I just could listen to you all day and I would just be smiling the whole time, just like that, and just be staring. Thank you for that. I mean, I cannot get
Thank you.
tired of listening to you. Now, Christabel says, wow, I wish I could speak Chi like this. I am in love with this poetry. Any tips to be able to speak articulately like you? Hey, wait, there's a school now, Beko. She has a question for you, Nana. Any tip?
Any tip? Okay. When you speak, Christabel, when you speak, pace yourself. When you speak, pace yourself. And consistency produces results. So practice. Test your work on people. Test your work on people. It always works. Test your work. And so if you want to say something different than everybody else would say, that's how you strive to make any difference. Because everybody enters a room and says, good morning, good morning, good morning. I enter the room and like matching. Immediately everybody looks at you, who is this guy? Who is this young man? Definitely. So aim to say things differently than the usual. Pace yourself when you speak. Test your work on people. I think these three for now. At least they're free.
Christabel, I hope you're writing where you're free. Free sampling, right? And if you need more, come, reach out to me and we'll figure out a way to connect you to Nana, and then you guys can start some classes, of course, paid. You know what I mean? Kofi Chisa says, "Oh, Osofo, you're very welcome." Another incredible artist and poet here, but he says one of the biggest deceptions is for us to think that speaking English to our kids at home, such that they are fluent in English at an early age, is such a great achievement. Mastering your mother tongue first gives you better command over other languages. Speak and teach the mother tongue to your children. As for the English, they will naturally pick it up in school. Auntie Doris says, I stole one. Mpinyin beka mpinyin sem, mofra, and then she ended it there. Christabel says, thank you. And Auntie Doris says, enroll me too. Why? Meaning, it looks like we're garnering students. Yeah. Christabel is in Canada. Doris is over here in the United States. That's international studenting right there. I hope I just made a word, studenting. Who cares, right? Probably Nana cares.
Right
Nana,
there.
I know we're gearing up to tell us. You were gearing up to tell us a story, and I kind of took a break so that we can hear your poetry. But I am now very, very ready for a full-on story. So let's go.
Okay. Fiction or reality?
Reality. Let's go. Reality.
Fiction or reality?
Always. Reality. Real story. Yes.
So this was 99. This was 99. I've told this story so many times over. I won't stop talking about it. Everybody has that epiphanic moment where you realize this is your call. This is what you've been called to do. This was how I met my mentor, my master, Professor Kofi Anyendoho, and how I got to start writing poetry. The most important part is the fact that it got me to write poetry. So this was 99. Fritz Bafor, Honorable, was running the African Heritage Series. No, he was running Sincerely Yours. It was a tourism show on Ghanaian television.
Yes.
All the tourist sites. And you know, Uncle Fritz has this lovely voice, right? I love his voice. He's a fantastic storyteller.
He has been on here and he definitely took us away the whole time. Yes.
Uncle Fritz was one of my early influences, yes. And then right around the time Komla Dumont, the late, God keep his soul, Komla was on radio, and you know, Komla has a deep voice and everybody was trying to imitate him, and it was funny.
Yes, the boss player.
Everybody wanted to speak like Komla. Then one day, GTV is on, I'm seated with my mom, and then the African Heritage Series just pops up. And this is this old man, white hair, white beard, gray hair, gray beard, with the spectacles, deep voice, talking slowly, just like I'm doing. I was like, Mommy, I'll meet this man before he dies. That's what I told my mother.
Wow.
I'll meet this man before he dies. And I made it a point to start watching the African Heritage Series, you know, from time to time. There was this particular episode where he was with the late Professor Ali Mazrui of blessed memory, and they were talking about Dahomey, the temple of, you know, the snake and then the rainbow god. And then right in the middle of the show, Ifu Wahala, that's what I call it. Ifu Wahala just breaks off. Dahomey, the home of the serpent and of the rainbow. And I was electrified. I was like, whoa! I don't know what it was, but you know, I was like, wow, I wish I had this this voice. And so I would go to bed. I'll sit up in the middle of the night when everybody's asleep and try to practice if I have got it. Dahomey, the home of the serpent and of the rainbow. I'm like, no, I've not got it. Another time I get up to go pee, I'll do it in class. Look, it became a thing for me. I was like, I have to meet this man before he dies. And then our headmistress, the late Margaret Henson, walks into my class. I was in JHS 1 at the time, and says, look, a couple of you guys write a poem for me on books. Write a poem for me on books. And that was it. You know, and that was it. I realized there was a little voice that would dictate to you. Every single time you try to add on, it's nonsense. But once it's talking to you, keep going. By the time you're done writing, you realize, wow, did I write this? This is beautiful. So I kept writing. When I'm angry, I can't express it, I'll write it. I was a very shy kid growing up. Trust me, I had a very shy part. So of course you'd meet some nice young women you would want to have a conversation with. Immediately I internalize it. Immediately I start writing poetry with all these beautiful stuff. Yeah, I've written. I tell people, guys, I could write love letters for a living. Trust me.
Oh my goodness.
You know,
Jesus.
so I have a lot of poetry written. Yeah. From that point on, you know. So then the drama club pops in. You are still getting on stage. You get to perform. I got to perform as Ato in Amatedu's Dilemma of a Ghost in JHS 2, yeah.
Wow.
And so I moved on to St. Augustine's College. Shout out to all the students. Action Kuti.
Oh
Moved on
God.
to St. Augustine's College, and I told them, guys, I'm here. I'm here for 2 reasons.
Mhm.
I'm here for 2 reasons. First, to disprove that infantism is the best. 2, to read literature in English. On both counts, up to this point in my life, I've succeeded. And so I get into St. Augustine's College.
Oh God, you're starting a battle we
I
cannot
didn't
finish.
I beg you. We are ready for them. So you have our colors behind you. You are wearing our green. You have our green behind you. What have you not done? You've
So
already endorsed us.
Mm,
So
wow.
so I moved on to St. Augustine's College, and by divine provision, I met some fantastic people who taught me. I met the likes of Ishmael Shen. I met Moses Avuto. I met Mr. Tudorson, the late, God keep his soul. And one thing he says, put on your thinking caps. In a literature class, you never make a mistake once you are able to support what you are proposing, especially from the text. If there's anything like that you're studying, put on your thinking caps. And so in St. Augustine's College, I pursued it rigorously, joined the drama team. I joined the drama debaters and writers club. I eventually rose to be public speaking coordinator for, my batch when I got to final year. And then I swept the literature prize. And
Wow.
it was some
You
good
were
times. Got on
that
stage,
child. You were that
did some
kid.
good performances.
Wow.
Won the best reader for Central Region 2005 years. It was good. I once got drawn from my class to a seniors class to explain something to them. I think it was literature, and I was like, "What's this?" And so I realized that literature, it naturally comes to me. I have this thing for literature in English. It's something I really love. It's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. I've told myself I want to be a professor of literature one day, and I'm still working on that. And then I moved to University of Ghana. And then I remember that the man had been wanting to, all that while I was still doing Daume, the home of the
How
serpents
old
and
were
the rainbow.
you? No,
I was
no.
still at
How
it. Trust me, I hadn't stopped.
Let me backtrack you a bit. How old were you when you first saw Professor Yudoho?
I was 11.
Oh
I
my
was 11.
God. Wow.
I was 11.
Wow. So you held
I was
on to
11.
this dream, went through all the way to St. Augustine's. You're now at the
Yeah.
University of Ghana. Okay. Got it.
Was I? 99. Yes, I was. Hold on. Let me do this. I just want to be
He's
sure.
doing the math. It's okay.
I'm
You
doing
were.
it the right way.
It's okay. You were 11 or 10. That's good.
Yeah, I was 12 at the. I was just 12 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 12.
Okay.
I was 12 at the time. Yeah.
Wow.
So moved on to University of Ghana, and then I got to the Department of English. I got to read English with history, French. One day I was moving from the Department of History, going up the stairs before I branched to the Department of English, and then I realized that everything had gone black. The sun was not shining anymore. I lifted my head and realized that Prof. Anidoho was actually coming down the stairs. That was the reason. So Prof was walking close to me. I was facing this man just by a stroke of what incidents or whatever. I couldn't see any. All I could see was the man. I was just looking at us. I was frozen to the spot. And then I greeted, good afternoon, Prof. And he has a very intimidating way of lowering his spectacles and looking, good afternoon. And that was the first time I met him. Immediately I got on phone and called my mommy, I've met him. I was just all over the place. I met him.
Oh my God. Oh, I hope you come back. Hopefully you're hearing. This is such a pivotal moment. There you
Advanced
go.
creative writing. And then it's quite a long story. Then what's her name? The late, God keep her soul, Lynn Chukura. Lynn Chukura taught me. So Lynn introduced us to ballads and sonnets. And I felt that Lynn was prophesying at that point to us through some of the poems that we studied. And so Lynn drowned in the sea. She went swimming, I think for chicken pox or something, and Lynn Chukura drowned. And for her memorial, I was just inspired to write a piece. And the piece was some of my words, but mostly was from the sonnets and the ballads she taught us. Like as the waves make toward the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten to their end. There was a particular ballad about Sir Patrick Spence. You know, if anybody knows it, the king sits in Dunfermline down, drinking the blood red wine, or where will I get a skilly skipper, all of that. You know, that tragic story. And you know, I put all those things together. And that was my first work Professor Kofi Anjo edited to be read at Lenchukure's memorial. By then, I was not in his class. No, I was in level 100, level 100 going on 2. So, creative writing, you submit your portfolio, he reviews, and so the course actually chooses you. You don't choose the course. I got into intro to creative writing. We were 20 in the class. The next semester, we're sized down to 13. And then for advanced creative writing, we're sized down to 3.
Wow.
And then there was an intervention, 2 more were added, we became 5. At the end of the top league, I was the only male surviving.
Wow.
Top 3. So eventually, that's when I got into his class, and you know. So for 3 consecutive sessions, I intro, creative writing, then advanced, I got to study with Prof. And I always say my work with God has been the life of a writer. It shaped me. It shaped me. There are a lot of things he shared, you know. And today I call him my father. I call him Fofonya. I call him Efo Wahala. And he says Nana Asaase. And it's such a beautiful thing. I believe that's what I call the power of a dream. But of course, a lot of other players, you know, contributed to bringing me to that moment. You know, bringing me to that moment.
Wow.
Right. And from there, you know, Nana Asaase, I told you how the name came about. Nana Asaase, the name is picked because my grandmother, you know, realized that it was my cousin who couldn't say Nana Boachi who corrupted it to Nana Asaase, but she was prophesying at the time. She didn't know. So I picked Nana Asaase on. Move on to national service. I performed for our end of year party. And then one day, my Facebook account, I'm sure by now it was God talking to me. He says, look, I had Philip Boachidia Oyinka and then Nana Asaase in the brackets. It was like, go and take Nana Asaase out of the brackets. So I went and wrote Nana Asaase into brackets, Philip Boachidia Oyinka. That was a major turning point.
Wow, just turning it around.
It was a major
just
turning
that.
point. I remember, yes, Baba Kofi and A.C. Johnson. I spoke to them. So if somebody invites me to perform, how much do I bill? They were like, okay, we think XYZ amount is a reasonable thing, you know. So I got a hang of it gradually. Good. Now let me make a very important point. When I was in University of Ghana, I met well, he's still a young man. I met Sir Black, Benedict Yibokojo Yibo, and a few of other people, you know, who had a radio show called Open Air Theater. It was on Radio Universe. We would go there every Sunday to share our poetry.
Wow.
You know, every Sunday to share our poetry. And in all of that process, eventually, I was there at the initial stage when Halakasa was born. You know, Nubuke Foundation, all of that. And I joined the Literary Family University of Ghana. You know, it's been chasing after the passion. I knew I would become a writer definitely.
Oh wow, what an engaging story. I am still enamored by this, and this is not I love how everyone is coming here and saying the earth man full of grace and wisdom. The earth man full of grace and wisdom.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
and that's what it's been. And you know, getting into my first appointment with Global Media Alliance, let me give credit to my boss, Rosemond Aite. Auntie Rosemond was so instrumental in what I do. There was one day she went on maternity leave. By the time she returned, I realized, no, look, this poetry thing could go really far because I'm writing a press release. I'll write the poetry in there and I'll cut it out, go paste it somewhere else. There was this particular month, you know, salary stuff, and then I got a performance, and I took a challenge with God. I'm like, look, man, if this is you bringing me this performance, don't let any of my media outlets come and cover this event.
Wow.
And so at break time, it was my break. I had an hour's break. I spent my break doing this. That was the second time I met the Ochini or Sadi Format of Repenting in person. That was the second time. Environmental, related event. I went there, performed, and came back to my office. I got paid about 3 times what I would have been paid at the end of the month.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. MTN, why? Okay. Well, we're not gonna fret. We're just gonna keep talking and let
Let me leave them out
Nana.
there for now.
Nana, we lost
Did you
you.
lose me? Hello, Zoe.
We totally missed you. We lost you. You had gone off air completely, but you're back now. And I think where we left off was when you said that was the second time you met Nana Mutia, for yes. So I just
Yeah,
want
Ochini. Yes. Okay. And that performance, I remember. That performance paid me about 3 times what I would have been paid at the end of the month in agency. And so I told myself, if I gave it a lot more attention, it would pay me. It could become my mainstay.
Yeah.
Coupled with the fact that, I mentioned this fact to you where people wanted their children to do every other thing apart from be a poet. Who would pay a poet in Ghana? I asked them in a very jocular manner, who would allow their daughter to marry a poet in Ghana?
This is true.
I realized that we were losing the cultural, greats. They were leaving at different times. Somebody needed to hold the fort. So I decided, look, God, if you're really pushing me to do this, I give you 5 years of my life. If it doesn't pay, I'll never put a pen to paper in the name of poetry again.
Wow.
So I signed this 5-year deal with him. I resigned. I didn't know where I was going at the time. Look, I just resigned. I gave him 5 years, and this is 5 years already. I'm here.
And
Has
you're
the story
still
ended?
going.
No, the story hasn't ended because
It has
like
not
I
ended.
see, the road ahead is longer than the one. The road ahead is longer than the one we have left behind. So trust me, my story will never end. It's still work in progress, and it's been 11 or 12 years already, and I don't regret giving up. I don't regret quitting. Resigning when everybody felt you should be doing something that would pay social security. Is this all you want to do? All of that kind of discouragement. But it was, hey, I was so stubborn for poetry. I knew what I had heard. I knew what it was. It was so deep a calling, yet I didn't know where I was going. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know where I was going to do, what I was going to do. Nothing. I had nothing. I got out of agency, forfeited salary for that month. So I was just zero. Zero.
You started with a big fat zero. Yeah. My goodness.
Look, so wow. It was around the time, not too long afterwards, unfortunately we lost the president at our mills around that time. And then let me tell you this interesting story. So I once went for an audition on one of KSM's platforms. I spent less than 10 seconds on the platform. When Professor Atamils died, I think he had seen some of my performances. He picked the phone personally and called me. Wow. Everybody I have ever looked for.
Oh no. What is going on with the internet today? Oh my goodness. All right, well, before Nana comes back on, let me take the opportunity to tell you that To My Younger Self is proudly sponsored by Opulence Group Real Estate, and it is under the expert leadership of Mr. Emmanuel Doku. This guy does real estate all around the world. He's licensed and based in North Carolina, but he works with outfits and buyers worldwide. What you need to do, especially if you're interested in real estate and you're trying to buy some property here or in somewhere in Africa, the person you need to reach out to is Mr. Emmanuel Deku. And of course, we have all of this information that is trickling down, in the ticker, below there. There's a phone number there. You do want to reach out to Opulence Group Real Estate. These guys are doing incredible things in Canada, in Ghana, in just all around the world. That is real estate at par. I mean, incredible real estating. You know what I mean? And not only does he believe in what To My Younger Self is doing, he's also graciously helping us along the way. And we want to say a big thank you to Mr. Emmanuel Deku and, of course, Opulence Group Real Estate. Whenever you find them online or you reach out to them or anything, please, you do want to say thank you to him on behalf of To My Younger Self. Incredible supporter. When we say somebody is a destiny helper, he's one of those on To My Younger Self. Incredibly helpful. And I personally call him Uncle Emmanuel. You know that's going to happen. And so, Uncle Emmanuel, I want to publicly say thank you so much for being such a big supporter of To My Younger Self and believing in the dream. As Nana Asaase was saying, he met a lot of people along the way that kind of brought him here. Nana, I hope you can hear us and that you want to be able to come back. We're going to hold the fort for a few. Unfortunately, we didn't get to grab more of his poetry, but to fill up the time, we can play the poetry that we heard him do again, just so that we can get him, give him time to come back. But we also wanted to say thank you so much to all of our donors. There's a lot of you that just, send us support and love donations and encouragement here and there all the time. We want to say thank you to all of you. I also wanted to acknowledge everyone that is on here. I see you guys. Reverend Dr. Moses Kofi Jesse is here. Sir, thank you so much for being here. Another storytelling alum. He is here. Auntie Doris is here, of course. There's a Triumphant Family Chapel. I think that's Assemblies of God. I am an Assemblies of God child, so I'm so grateful that you guys are here. Of course, the incredible Kofi Chisa, or Safo Kofi Chisa is here. Johnson Ameyubo is here. I just want to say thank you. Bright Sechi is here. There's just so many of you. I cannot continue to mention names, but I want to acknowledge you and I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to play Nana's poetry and then we're going to try to see if we can reach him again by the time that the poetry is done. So you get a double treat for today. For those of you who didn't see him perform already, here is another one of him performing, or the same one of him, just in a different space. You know what I mean? Please hold.
Yeah. When a child is called before his elders, he dare not name names or call titles, lest he misses one and be made to pay a fine. And so, ladies and gentlemen, a janum ni nanum titri ni nintini. Ichiamu nyina ya jimi ahenewa. Ichiamu nyina ya jimi ahenewa. Ichiamu nyina ya jimi ahenewa. I'm the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. I did not come to pour libation. Tonight, mijao kakra. Now so they are fadring. Timisim penny be company some mofrabet and some shadows would find their places on the walls. And as I say, o mama kwenje bi wo fase. Asem bi kire me so. Nti ma meni mu nsusu hu e bi ana mu nsu mo hunu. E motumi a kire me ase bi. Elders say a child who will live long needs no child. Oba obeche ye moni sumai. Enunti sabe mpenye duasa. Ena moto mama mfe dunka ho. Sabe mpenye duanan oba kwase ape ena ode ne nsabe nkum kire na jafie. Na bayu a wasi so saye ne se wasoro be kire na se ne aye kyem. Openi fahi openi ni hina openi ni di ode na pampem apem so ntu hweme a wo se ma pampem apa ampa mihia so no krutia ede ma pampem pem no de pem nimde etwe betu krum finfini ma obi atwa bi nya bi di enti ene onsi won hu ade amwani ate enti hwe me kan sem nyina de so onipa ne ehwehwe de oyo hene ye hwehwe asuo ni okwantem de oyo penin asuo ni okwantem de oyo penin na efre no kintin kantan fentemfrem ofentemfrem ofema da sankwa enkwansu tin ada sateto santin de nisuo kwoto yebo obi huru ye nim tie nti anim aba nyam befre no soro fonton from komakokoro ko obo brama brempombo dibire wase onyankropon ononko ani odoma nkoma kirema oyan ma ne kotokoro ron soro mafi soro bedi asa wase owieye enu otim so sanu kwa wo wa bone a ote oba bi nka na emu ti odin obedwam ne ebie su tim so fra wo mama anasase o mama kwenje bi wo fase mentumi ho osi edi nkra hene anyensem koye etudru a anka be bon me ho papa ana. Let me speak some English to you, ladies and gentlemen. I am a seed of the sky planted in the wombs of the earth. native of the sky, bound to earth by umbilical tree. I am a wonder from many realities ago, planted in this generation to serve many more yet to come. And I have realized the element of the third leg of wisdom that a man will lean on and call a true friend. Hina no boche ni freku on yonko pani eja ya de to bama so eko okudi nkunim san be fie be ka okunkunim de mo asem e fa de pa ya prapra ho ya to ya nante so. Struggles of man begin at birth, yet midlife crisis is another thing to deal with. You see, he said when a child learns to wash his hands well, he eats with his elders. What of an elder who does not learn to wash his hands well? What happens to him? And see, she nyansan timpeni ndwemu nti ya omudi omube ehata sinto so se yen hwe pani anajo desium nanso Nana Asaase me si mehia onipa brewetia ono kire sempoa kire teku edia hamasina pani anajo desium ago fi ha asempa yetia mento amane nwarinti mesumu nyankopon ana masom na yefno kronkron wo ade hyepon wo me osi oba tuntum so no se wo de min wie wo ho asem ka hwe se wo de sire ebiri hia ne suma ne yefrem yodefo eno nti odefo asase hwe se ma hye nsem de se nsa be kode be so mo adasa ma hye mesua mehunu metim susa na joba de no kware ho twa wo ye okra kono de an ho ni dem san wo ye bia so no nko oba upie wi akiti ano soro ajo.
Oh, Nana, we had to cut it short and bring you back on. You are welcome back, Nana.
Yes, thank you very much.
Oh, can you hear us?
Thank you, Zoe.
Yes. Wow.
So I was telling you
we had
the story. I'm sorry, of KSM's audition that
Yes.
I spent less than, And when Professor Mills died, he now sent me a message. He needs me on his show live. Thank God it's Friday. And
Wow, he came.
So I always say this. Anybody I've looked for. No, when Professor Mills passed, when he died, when the late Professor Mills. No, KSM.
Oh, KSM. Okay,
KSM.
I'm trying to figure. Okay, so KSM.
KSM had a show. Thank God it's Friday. Yes. Yeah. But when, KSM now wanted me on the show.
So you were saying
eventually
that
I got on. Did a lot of.
You were saying that everybody wanted to meet.
Everybody I wanted to meet. Yes, everybody I've wanted to meet. Everybody I wanted to meet who maybe initially is like, no, I don't want to do. Eventually they come looking for me.
Wow.
Eventually, yes. Anybody who has had the chance to be of help to us, who legitimately refuses to do it, eventually comes looking for us.
Wow.
That has been the story over these few years.
Oh my
So when I'm looking for something so badly, I realize that the moment I start looking, God counts it as a prayer. At the time when I least expect, it comes to me.
Wow.
At the time when I least expect, it comes to me. My work with God has been the life of a writer.
You have just preached.
And so after Professor Mills,
Wow. So let's pick up there. So after Professor Mills passed away, and then
so from there, one performance after the other. That's when a lot of media houses came after us. And beyond Professor Mills, we've done a lot more. That's what I'm saying. So in death or in life, almost all the four presidents of this republic, president, vice, I've served all of them in death or in life. In life, I served Professor Mills when I was in PR agency, but in death when he was gone. The late Aliu Mahama, the late Jerry Rawlings, President Kufuor, name it, all of them till now. So that really shot us into the media in a lot of interesting ways. Whereas in the past, I was in the media as a PR person. So Trey Songz came to Ghana. Let me mention it publicly. It was part of my story. I was on the team that did the PR when he came in. Vodafone sponsored that event. So I sat there, I'm like, okay, well, this is a creative. Is this more talent than we've got here back at home? I should be in a place where somebody else is doing the PR. I should be in the place where somebody else is doing the PR. And that was it. And then I think 4 years down the line, one of my line managers, JOT Aljaman, JOT, how are you? God bless you. JOT, you should see this interview. So I went on live television with Ohineye Gifty Auntie and a few others. She was about to have an event. And he says, I have in the middle of the show, he says, I have a confession. He has a confession to make. Because that was my line manager. That was the same station I used to work at. I used to work for, ETV was one of the media houses. And he says, I have a confession. So I was one of those people, and this was his confession. I was one of those people when 4 years ago, when this young man was quitting his job, I said in my head, is he stupid? What is he trying to do? These are things we've done and failed. What does he think he can do better? But Nana, let me say, 4 years down the line, you have proven me wrong. This was live television.
Wow. 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 What an incredible story you have. Wow. And we just I personally look forward. I said, what an incredible story you have. And I personally am looking forward to when, I don't know, the biggest stage. What is the biggest stage you've ever dreamt of? Because that's what I'm wishing for you. What's your biggest stage?
The biggest stage I've ever dreamt of in Ghana or beyond?
No, the biggest of the biggest, the one that tops all of them. It doesn't matter where.
That I have dreamt of or that I still dream of?
That you still dream of. Where do you hope to see yourself and then you say, I have arrived. This is where I've always belonged.
Maybe when God sits in state one day and he can see me, I can see him, and then we have a showdown. Yeah.
But no,
that
that's
time
in the
I will know that.
That's in the afterlife.
I've taken my rightful place. You think so? Yeah. Okay. So let me tell you, in Ghana, I was waiting to perform for that Santihine. And then I'll close the book. I performed for that Santihine early this year. And then I told myself after that Santihine, I'm looking for the Queen of England. Unfortunately, Malizi died too early. One train. She went too early. The current King of England, one chain or contemporary. The current King of England was in my audience before he became king. I'm hoping to perform at the AU, at the UN, or at the Commonwealth, like live when they are in session. That is where I want to be. But you know what happened to me? At the Dubai Expo last year, my team and I represented Ghana. I got on the stage, left, and then I realized the name of the stage is the Stage of Nations. And the stage is one of the smallest I've seen, but I think in terms of physical size, but the audience was huge. And the stage was called the Stage of Nations. So I knelt down in my room. I'm like, God, thank you for giving me the Stage of Nations. When I was asking you for UN and all of these things, he gave me the Stage of Nations. What else should I ask for? What else should I ask for?
I am so proud.
If I stick around, I will not die beneath age 90. At this rate at which we are going, I'm sure that definitely AU will happen. The UN will happen. Commonwealth is not definitely. I've been in Commonwealth, one of the Commonwealth ambassadors for Ghana, I think 2020. Yeah, definitely it will happen. These are patience and consistency. Look, keep going. You never really know. Until opportunity shows up, make sure you are prepared. So that when opportunity,
Wow. The guy came to preach. Wow. Oh, this internet service thing is really, really disturbing my life this morning. But that's okay. That's okay. Nana, hopefully you can hear us, and hopefully you're not, can you hear us?
If word is all that is needed to save your life, and I show up.
Oh, I missed that.
I'm all right. I was telling you about my service provider before we had this conversation. I just wouldn't want to call anybody out on live. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's true.
since I am not tied to them in any way, I can call them out. If they're MTN or Glow or whoever they are, get your act right, please, and thank you. Oh, wow.
MTN,
So,
Nana, we're having a life-changing conversation.
I know, life-changing, incredibly life-changing. So what I wish for you, Nana, is that I wish to see you bring together the stage of nations, and that you get to perform on all these platforms. I'm going to throw in the stages on Hollywood. I'm going to throw in that you get to open, who knows, one of these days, very, very soon, for the Academy Awards. That would be incredibly, what should I say, destiny changing, not just for you, but for the entire world. Just imagine opening an Emmy with poetry, where you speak a language more than half of them don't understand. Now that's the dream. That's my dream for you. And so we're looking forward to that. And just before we round up, I know you probably have another poetry, or at least I am hoping you have another poetry that you could share with us before we sign off. And so I'm going to go to my cue cards, give you time to breathe a little bit whilst you put your thoughts together. And then when we come back, you'll close us out with the poetry. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So guys, I just wanted to say thank you guys for joining us today. All of you who stayed in here with us, I just wanted to say thank you. Listen, next week, we will be having a replay of one of our authors' corners next week, because the show will be on the road. And so just tune in, and you don't know which one we're going to pick. So it's going to be a good one. The week after that, September is incredibly high level. I mean, like high level. Okay. We're just going from grace to grace to grace to grace. September, we break in. First week in, we're right smack dab in the middle of Hollywood. Guys, is going to be mind-blowing. So do not miss the first week of September. For those of you who have been here long enough, you always know we do not forget to say thank you to our donors, to our sponsors. We just said thank you to Opulence Group Real Estate, licensed and based in North Carolina, but they do work with outfits all around the world. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your sponsorship. For those of you who send us monthly donations, Auntie B, Auntie Araba, Jane Fiorito, Rose Machayo, just all of you, we want to say thank you. For those of you who say, hey, Zoe, here's something for your next t-shirt. Here's something for the next internet service. All of the support you guys give us, we want to say thank you. There's a few people we want you to patronize. You know, we're always saying, listen, Africa is where it's happening. Africa is where we are. So put your mouth or your foot where your mouth is. You know what I mean? I'm trying to sound very poetic. I don't know. Maybe Nana will tell me if I'm doing well with that. So here are a few people we want you to patronize. Of course, Music for Your Quality Feet. We want you to patronize Wear Ghana by Rabna and her team. Kua Designs by Ruby Boa. M. Sims by Mabel Simpson. Ryle by Design out of New York, Nyack, by way of Kenya. Avonzige Bridal by Avonzige Augustina. Humanity Chats that goes on live every Thursday out of the United States by Margie March. Keys and Credo by our very own Nana Asaase. Horseman Shoes. Yeah, we're always shouting out Horseman Shoes. We've never met them, but it doesn't matter. Caveman Watches, Kelm Beats. There's just so many of you. So literally, wherever you live in this world, find an African outfit go in there and spend some of your money. Even if it's a little more expensive, spend, because you know they're taking back some of the money back to Africa. That's the point. Okay, that's the only way we will grow. And so we just wanted to say all of that. Of course, we want you to patronize my big brother Nana Redamwa and his team, Book Nook Stores. That's where you go to get all of your books, all of your literary needs. You want to go there. And like we said before, you want to start your kids with African history really, really early on. So why don't you jump onto the Kunda Kids app and you would get to teach your kids all these incredible African languages, okay? All right, so my job is done and Nana is about to take us away. And just when I was mentioning my big brother Nana Redamwa, here he comes and he says, I am here, but work won't allow me to be great. I greet the great Nana Asaase, the poet whose ears are sharp enough to hear the the flatulence of a bee. Hey, babe, brother, why would you do this to me? Big brother Nana, I don't know. Why are you doing this to me? Elsie, our producer, she says, my brother Eric puts it this way: opportunity is only as good as the preparation you make while waiting for it to knock. Exactly. And with that being said, Nana, we've come to the end of the show. My very deep gratitude to you. I have told everyone that to me just how enamored, how incredibly enthralled, in love I am with this man right here. And I just met him. I don't mind saying it. Yes, I am thrown gobsmacked, fangirling seriously. And so, Nana, over to you whilst you close us out. Uh-oh.
We'll still talk about the PR manager job, won't we? We'll talk about the PR manager job.
I hear you.
I have a poem entitled Come Home. I have a poem entitled Come Home. It's the latest piece I'm working on. Within me, I'm not done, but wherever it sits, it's complete. So I'll read it to you.
Okay.
Come home. We have come down many veins to this river, coursing through the alleys of contorted dreams. We come to wash our fears in the banks of faith, hoping to find our voices to sing birth songs after the war of tears has parched our throats. We have come through many lungu-lungus to this place where 7 life paths meet, in search of the highways of humanness and a place to spread out our divinest mats which bear the maps of the future. Our umbilicals were cut on nomadic whetstones, while mother was sharpening her spears for necessary ends. I am your siblings in many ways than a lifetime could ever reveal. There is water in the valley. There's fire on the mountain. Love is gushing from our fountain. Fear is creeping into the dark of the fringes of this new skirt, of which we are pleats arrayed like disorderly waves chanting in order to the orders of the winds. Come home. Your seat is overgrown with untapped memories, Zoe. Come home. Your mirror is crashing on your frame. Come home. Your spear is in pain of rusted victories. Come home. Your name is my pulse. Your voice is the force of the dew at dawn, rapping on the footpaths to direct the moon ahead of the clan to inspect our traps. Come home. To all of you out there in the diaspora, come home. We're waiting. When you come to the center of the world, ask them of the writer king who sips communion wine from the calabash. If you forget it, remember Nana Asaase or Mama Kwenje Biwofase. Thank you, Zoe, for having me.
Oh my God. The man has prophesied without even knowing he's prophesied. Thank you for that, Nana Asaase. So grateful that you took the time to be here. With that being said, just like he said, come home, come home, come home. And so with that, we're going to tell you from where we come from with our closing. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Remember, home is where the heart is, like Nana has just said. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Come home. Bye.
jaga, waja shong. Wagwa jaga, waja shong. Wagwa jaga, waja shong. Kaja Israel, kaba Egypt, kaja Ethiopia, kaja Sudan, waja shong. Kaja Ikushima, you know, wani me kona me waja shong. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, you know, waja shong. Wagwa jaga, waja shong.